Namaste, folks. We're on a Swiss ball. Checking in, seeing how things are doing. How's your balance? Even sitting still. How's your breath? Is it flowing freely? Do you need to modify your position so that you can get a free, easy breath here? And let's go to Urdhva Hastasana. Remember, that's going to change your center of balance to a little bit higher. You can move the arms up and down if that feels like the appropriate place for you to be, or you can just plant your sits bones into the ball. Use the arms to lengthen you vertically and keep breathing. While you pay attention to not only what's going on in your own body, but in your own body in relationship to this ball, those little micro shifts. Check the back of the neck, check to make sure that the ankles are not rock hard. You need those two places especially to be able to adjust. And then release your Urdhva Hastasana, your upward hands. Let's go into a forward fold with the legs wide. If you don't have a lot of hamstring flexibility or a lot of spine extension flexibility, that's your arch shape, keep your hands higher up your legs, otherwise you can take your hands down or maybe all the way to the floor. We want to find that arch shape in the back. So we are more on our legs, but still using the ball. So while your seat stays glued to the ball, can you extend the spine, reach it forward, and then have the far end, not so much the top up near the ears, but the breastbone, reaching forward and up. We don't want to overextend the neck. So Prasarita Padottanasana, legs wide, with an extended spine, that cow shape. And then curl yourself back in and up to find neutral again. Observe for your moment. And then moving into Parsva Konasana on the ball. Right? So we're finding that broad stance. Elbow to thigh, or perhaps you're all the way to floor. Make sure that it's an extended spine, not a side bend that gets you to the floor. I'm going to stay more toward elbow, and we have a long reach. Keep exploring what's willing to extend, what's willing to release, what's willing to open. This long line through the spine into your back leg, while this front line makes something like a square. The angle at the knee can be bigger than 90 degrees. Please don't make it less than. And big inhalation. See if you can sweep yourself all the way to upright. And then fidget round till you are on the other side. Finding your stable base. Finding, again, lengthen the spine with the appropriate fold at the hip. Adding the arm. P.S. How's the stance on the feet? Are you still anchored? Heels and outside edges of the feet without losing the big toe joint? Has your underneath shoulder collapsed on you? In the base, are there possibilities for opening up a little bit more? So we have the sense of the back leg reaching firmly down into the heel, but this front bent leg can do a little more. Can you open the knee more toward the small toe side of the foot while the thigh bone pulls back in to the torso, which may allow for more length through the torso and into the back leg. Again, when you're ready to come up, big inhalation. And bring yourself back to whatever is neutral for you. Then let's drape ourselves over the ball for a downward dog. There are a lot of ways that you can play with this. Where do you want to put the ball? Where do you want to tuck it to? Yes, if you want to use walls, sure. So the ball does a bit of supporting. It's not so much about balance here. For some of us, it may actually feel like it's getting in the way of your downward dog. Continue to work around it. There are nice opportunities for discovery with this prop. And then find your way back out. And find your way back up. Then let's go to a similar place to the Parsvakonasana that we went to, because we're going into a supported lunge here. It's a wider base, and you are turned forward rather than sideways. So we're not taking the feet right in line, we're opening them out. And then we want to get the inner thigh resistance going on here. So back leg is still working strongly. Backwards, upwards. Push the toe joints into the floor. Front thigh pulling into you, pressing into the arm, but the arm doesn't let go. It keeps pushing into the thigh. Again, notice the micro shifts that are happening because of the instability in the ball. This is a great way to stabilize hips. And then come on out of it and find your way around to the other side. So again, we're using a wide stance here. We want the wide stance. There's a difference in how the inner thighs engage here. So again, find the stability of the back leg, that's part of your support. And then your push-push, while the front thigh draws back into the hip joint. How's the breathing going? How's the integrity of this pushing shoulder? And then again, find your way back out. Pull your feet in close to the ball. Glue your knees together if you can, and curl yourself up. Then see if you can shift your weight a little further forward, maybe even off your heels. So maybe your heels lift a lot, maybe they lift a little. So we're curling up and we are off balance here. So find the place where the thighs, the backs of the thighs are not working too much, the ankles are not working too much, the feet are not working too much, but where your balance is challenged to the point where there's shifting and adjusting happening. If your knees are drawing apart, see if you can draw them in closer. Yes, that makes the balance more of a challenge. So this is not a resting child pose. This kind of balasana, curling up, is very much a how do we curl up, but make it about keeping and finding balance. Can you keep the breath going into the back of the lungs? And then curl yourself back into upright. Take a moment to catch your breath again. Get your center. And we're going to challenge the balance a little differently. Bringing the knees wide and the feet in toward each other. So again, we're folding forward, but this time it's less of a curl and more of a fold. So can you fold just at the hip joints? If you back the ball up, it will be more stable. You decide if you want to fold forward and it will put more weight into the outsides of the feet as well, and it will engage your core if you stay forward. So you decide what's the appropriate place. We would love to be able to find the balance in our center so it's not our hands that are doing all the work. This is more about long spine than about curled spine. This is allowing the nervous system to really work deeply in the hip joint to find balance here. Nuance for those stabilizing muscles in the hips. And of course in the core. So a Swiss ball version of Adho Mukha Baddha Konasana, downward facing fixed angle pose. And then find your way back up. And let's do one more. I have an itchy nose today, I'm sorry. We're going to find that lovely front line position on the ball. With the ball more toward the center of the lower torso and the legs extended strongly. So you can start with hands on the ball, but then lift the elbows, bring them toward each other. So hands come off the ball, and then find your arch, lifting the chest. As you exhale, let the arch go. Do not let the shoulder blades separate. So we're keeping those muscles between the shoulder blades. The rhomboids there are doing a whole lot of work. Your upper trapezius is busy here. And then we've got all those muscles that extend along the spine that we are engaging and then softening. Make sure you soften. Feel the lengthening of those vertical muscles. We want to activate and release, and then activate on the inhalation again, and exhale on the release. Keep checking. Your elbows are never going to touch behind your back, but keep checking to see if you can keep those elbows reaching up and back toward each other, which is going to open the chest a little bit more. Let those collarbones slide wide. No, they do not slide out of their joint with the breastbone, but it is that feeling of widening. And then finally, let it all go. And you are done. If you want to go into a relaxation, rock and roll, do your thing. One of the ways to relax on Swiss ball is to take a forward draped relaxation. You can also lie on your back with your legs up on the ball, or you can just make the ball go away. And if you need to go about your day, you did a thing for yourself. Really good job. I will not be doing these for the next couple of months, so go back over the older material. You know how much repetition helps.